Hello, my friends, and welcome to She's on the Money. I am Victoria Devine, and around here, we are all about making money a little less overwhelming. We have a community of more than 300,000 people. We have podcasts and blogs. We also have freebies like budgeting tools and investing cheat sheets to help you feel more in control of your financial future.
She's on the
Money.
She's on the money.
My name's Natasha Bamblett. I'm a proud First Nations woman and I'm here to acknowledge country. Hello, beautiful friends. We gather on the lands of the Aboriginal people. We thank, acknowledge and respect the Aboriginal people's land that we're gathering on today. Take pleasure in all the land and respect all that you see. She's on the Money podcast acknowledges culture, country, community and connections, bringing you the tools, knowledge and resources for you to thrive.
Hello and welcome to She's on the Money, the podcast that's here to tell you your money is not on fire, even if the news headlines are really trying to convince you otherwise. So if you've opened your investing app lately and immediately wished you hadn't, if you've woken up at 2 a.m. wondering whether you should move everything to cash, or if your mum has texted you asking if her super is going to be okay.
Everyone's mum is doing that. Yes.
Everyone's mum is doing that. Then you're in the right place, because today we are doing a proper, beautiful deep dive into what is actually going on in the world and, most importantly, what it means and what it doesn't mean for your money. Here's what Victoria told me we're getting into today.
Hey, that's me.
What is actually driving the global market chaos right now, explained without the jargon.
I did say that.
How Australia fits into all of this and why we are more protected than you think. That's very comforting.
Yeah, I had to throw in a good one. I did give Becca a laundry list of stuff that we're going to talk about today. And I was like, are you ready? Strap in.
Thank you. So we're almost learning this together. What you should do with your portfolio and your super right now. Okay.
Everybody wants to know and they're going, V, should I sell my shares? Spoiler, no.
No.
But keep listening.
Yes, keep listening. So it sounds like, oh, okay.
I have to jump in
answers.
there because I'm like, what if they are really busy and they get out of the car and they haven't listened to this whole episode and then they're like, oh, V would sell her shares. She's pretty conservative.
If you stop listening right now, all you know is the world is Fucked.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Good spelling because there might be kids in the car.
Thank you.
It's
okay.
like learning language with Auntie Beck.
We may as well do that while we're here, you know.
Yeah, we're just helping you out.
What you absolutely should not do and why panic is the most expensive thing you can spend. That's clever.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And why the most powerful investing move you can make right now might actually be nothing. I'm Beck Side, and with me is the woman who somehow stays completely calm when everyone else is in a full financial spiral, Victoria Devine. Hi, V.
Hello, baby. Yeah, so when you're in a financial spiral, I'm not, slay, but I spiral in every other aspect of my life. So that's okay. I just wanted you to know that it's I don't have my stuff together all the time.
That's okay.
And I love that you said calm before, because I promise you, I have had panic 2 a.m. thoughts as well. Not recently. I'm very proud of myself about this.
Proud of you.
But I'm not immune to this either. I have logged into my investing app. I have seen the news and I'm like, I'm pretty concerned. And lucky for you, what I do when I'm concerned is not what you do when you're concerned. I start researching and you start going, nah, I'm probably going to need a soda water. And I want to make sure that all of you guys have the context that I now have because I've done the research for you.
You know what? That's what I love about you. And it's not that you don't feel it. You just know what to do with it.
Well, I try. I feel like I have to deep dive research to make sure that everything's not actually on fire. And that's what this whole episode is going to be about. So if you're feeling a little bit nervous about your money right now, girl, you are completely normal. And by the end of this episode, hopefully you're going to know exactly what to do, exactly what not to do, and where to put that feeling because it's valid. I don't want to be like, oh, what you're feeling is so silly. Don't do anything. It's so valid. It's your money and we're seeing it look like it's going down. So let's just get into it.
Okay.
Beck, I want to do a really quick gut check with you. Have you looked at your investing app recently?
Yes, almost every day.
Yes.
And it's not looking good. But hey, if I was in Victoria's shoes, I would be leaving it. Also, I know we've spoken about it's like they're on sale. Shares are on sale.
Exactly. And that is completely normal. And if you're feeling anxious about it, that's actually human biology.
Yes.
It's quite literally hardwired into your brain that when a human experiences loss, we don't like that. We don't like losing something that we have. We don't like losing something that we are comfortable with. If I'm comfy, why are you taking my good chair?
I know.
You know, like I sat in it, you know, I pondered whether I should buy that one. And then all of a sudden I did buy that one. Why take it off me? It's
gone.
my favorite chair now.
God, it's annoying,
but
isn't
our
it?
brains are literally wired to feel losses more acutely than you feel gains. And that's called, there's a name for this. It's called loss aversion. So it's a cognitive bias that every single human being has, regardless of how put together they might look, because we're basically all just cave people and we're just trying not to lose our food supply.
Yeah, God, we're good.
We're just little cave women.
So we're all just kind of panicking like cave people.
We are cave people. Yeah. But we're panicking like cave people because it makes sense. But the market has recovered every single time. We always forget that though, don't we?
Yeah.
And do you know what I'm seeing online from all the finance bros? Oh, this time is different. Get in
Is
the bin.
it different?
Get in the bin.
That would scare me. That would scare me.
Yeah, that's the point. Like they're trying to drive their narrative and I kind of like, I don't know. Are you allowed to want to punch someone in the face while knowing full well that that's not something I would ever do?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I can say that.
can
I'm
say
just
that.
all talk. I'm like a little chihuahua who gets like held by their owner and like yaps at everybody going past. But if I was put on the floor, I would yeet. Like I'd be out. Sorry, all talk, no bite. But the market has literally recovered every single time we have experienced uncertainty in history, Beck. Every single time.
That's
The
really, really
recession,
comforting.
the global financial crisis. Like, and do you know what today's not about?
Yeah.
It's not about toxic positivity. I'm not here being like, Beck, it's fine. It's amazing. There's a lot of really crappy things going on in the market at the moment. And financially, we are all feeling it. I'm not here to be toxically positive.
Yeah.
I'm literally here to explain to you what's going on in a way that you're like, oh, that makes sense. And I'm not stressed about that, but God, I'm still stressed about my cash.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to be.
Yeah.
But we don't want you to be making financial decisions that ultimately impact future you that you go, oh my God, I wish I'd known better.
Okay.
We're giving you better right now, right? This is just actual content. First things first, Beck, let's talk about what is actually happening.
Yes.
Because I feel like we've heard some headlines, we've seen some TikToks, because I think part of the problem is that everyone's getting fragments of information. You're not sitting down and watching a whole deep dive documentary on what's happening in the global markets at the moment. You're seeing it on TikTok. You see a scary headline here and maybe group chat is spiraling. They're like, oh my God, did you see XYZ? Like let's just lay it out very clearly. So let's zoom out, Beck. I reckon there are 3 things happening all at once right now. So it's not just one thing, and they are different issues with very different impacts. So the first, you've probably heard about the war. You've heard about tariffs. The United States has been rolling out what I would say like sweeping tariffs. Why? I still don't fully understand. Not because I don't understand how it works. Maybe I just think their leader's a little bit delulu. you know when you're just like, this actually, like genuinely, this actually doesn't make sense. You're not making friends with other countries. You're making life harder for everybody.
He's senile. He needs to be
Right?
taken
Like
out of
that's
there.
how it feels. So like, I'm going to explain this one to you,
Yeah.
but it's still kind of not going to make sense as to why
Yes.
he's doing it. He'll say, oh, it's because America is great. Great. Fantastic. That's not it. I'm
Okay.
probably going to get banned from America at some point because of all of these, quote, hate speech.
That's okay.
Not that sad. But in saying that, maybe I am, because the world's biggest finance content creators conference that I go to sometimes, that's over there.
I see. No,
Maybe
that's
I
okay. They'll bring it here.
Whatever. But tariffs are basically taxes on imported goods. So anything coming into the country is getting more taxes. And when the world's largest economy does something like that, the ripple effects are massive. So we're not talking about just like a small country or a small island making that decision and people are like, oh, their taxes are higher, who cares? Like this impacts the entire world. And you know what happens? Other countries get pretty annoyed by that and they retaliate. It's not, oh, they increase their taxes too. They retaliate and that impacts everybody. So supply chains are disrupted. Companies get uncertain about what their costs are going to look like in the future, what their income is going to look like. And uncertainty gets priced into the share market very quickly because, as you've seen, when people get anxious about their money, markets change.
Got you. So when you go to your investing app and
Yeah.
it's like down or it
Yeah.
is not as, exciting as you thought it might be, that's kind of like the market is just kind of being anxious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I
because
see.
are you going to invest? Well, technically, I do. But Beck, if you're feeling really anxious about something, are you going to do it or are you going to hesitate a little bit?
I dare say.
Like if you're really scared to do something in general, we're not even talking about money, but like let's say you're really scared of trains.
Well, probably going to take you a second to get on.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're going to hesitate before getting on, but you're also like, oh, but I got it. Yeah, like I'll get on the train, but like I'm a little bit anxious about it. So I'm probably going to spend a little bit more time doing it. So maybe I'll do it tomorrow instead of today. Maybe I won't invest today because markets are, let's just call them giant anxiety machines. And they hate uncertainty. They're your type A friend. If their plans are going off track, spiral.
Yeah.
She's spiraling. And the moment something unpredictable happens, investors start reassessing risk and prices move. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the underlying value of that company has changed because what's actually changed? Nothing except your view of it.
That's
At
so
this point,
true. Yeah, okay, got
At
you.
this point, nothing except your view of it. It just means the mood's changed, the vibes are off.
Yeah, okay. And so what's the second thing?
Okay, so the second thing, interest rates. We're talking a lot about it. It's very in the media here in Australia, and the RBA has been navigating, I would say, its own path. We've been seeing interest rates start to come down, which is genuinely a very good thing for a lot of people. And then they've gone back up, which is obviously making people stressed because they're like, well, if our economy is popping interest rates back up, that's really like that means something's wrong, right? Doesn't necessarily mean something's wrong. It means that we're trying to prevent something from going wrong, right? So it's all about supply and demand, right? So like the economy still has the same supply, but demand has gone down because you're anxious. So you're not going to buy it today. So when demand goes down, they kind of freak out and go, oh my God, they don't want my share anymore. What if it goes down in price? Maybe she'll want it more. But that's still making me anxious, so I'm going to keep holding off. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Globally, when we talk about interest rates, especially in the US, there is so much back and forth about where interest rates are heading. I don't think anyone is super clear over what's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 months. If we go back another 6 months, remember we were saying that, interest rates are headed down. But we didn't know what the rest of the industry or the rest of the market was going to do. And this is actually a really good example of when one lever moves, for example, tariffs and stuff start happening, other levers in other areas start moving as well. So we don't particularly know where interest rates are headed, and that creates its own level of volatility.
Okay. And the third thing?
So this is just general geopolitical noise. So a lot is happening in the world right now. So when we say geopolitical, it sounds really intelligent. I like saying that word. But it just means that there's a lot of stuff going on in politics, internationally, and markets, they don't really like that. They don't like uncertainty. They price in uncertainty, and then that means we get volatility. And volatility is just when the price of something goes up and down more consistently.
Yeah, okay. It kind of feels like everything's happening all at the same time.
I feel like it is, and that's why I was like, look, there's like 3 things and they're all coming together and they kind of interact, but they are also separate things. But what I want you to take from today is that this isn't actually unusual. We are currently in a world that is so much more visible than it used to be. The world has always had periods of, I would say, general chaos, recessions and wars and pandemics and financial crises. And every single time people thought, oh my goodness, Victoria, what if the market doesn't recover this time? And you know what? Every single time, it has. And that's not even me being blindly optimistic, which I can be sometimes. That's actually just history.
Yeah, okay.
We're not blindly optimistic. It is just history. We have always recovered.
Always recovered.
Exactly.
Why do the finance pros right now think it's not going to, well, we don't know.
I don't know. Why aren't they looking at history? Oh,
Yeah.
because it doesn't get views.
No, that's so true.
If I go
forgot
on
about that
TikTok and
part.
make a video and be like, hey, babe, it's actually okay. I'm not going to get that many views.
No, it's
I'm
all
not
about
good at rage bait,
engagement.
except for on April Fool's Day. Good at rage bait on April Fool's Day.
You're really good at it.
So-
April Fool's Day.
Now let's stop talking about global. Let's zoom into just our economy. Let's just talk about Australia.
Okay.
Because I think it's really easy to hear what's going on in the global news and think, all right, that's over there. It's big world news, but I live in Australia and like wars and global crises. I get it, but low-key, we all just want to know what the heck's going on with our own ETFs.
Yes.
Like, I just want to know, what does this mean for me? And the answer is, honestly, quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I get quite frustrated when people say, I'm not a political person. Everything in this universe, Beck, is political.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, money is inherently political, and that's why we have to lean into it and understand it. I don't mean that when you're political, you have to go out and champion change. You don't have to do anything. Like, that's my job. You can join me. That's cool. But like, money is inherently political, and when you have $1 in your hand, you are in politics.
Wow.
Like, I don't care if you say, oh, I'm not into politics. Yes, you are.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you are. You just clearly don't understand it well enough.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of rude from me, but also whatever.
She's allowed.
But as much as quite a bit is going on, also, low-key, don't stress this, probably not as much as you're fearing. Because you know what we're really good at, especially as women? Making it way worse in our heads than what it is, right? So Australia is what we would call a really big commodity exporter. So we've got lots of stuff in our ground. We've got iron ore. We all know a mate who's done fly in, fly out mining jobs, right? We've got coal, we've got lithium, and a lot of that stuff that we pull out of the ground goes to China. And when there's tension between America and China, it affects demand for our commodities, which then affects our mining companies, which then takes up a huge chunk of the Australian share market, right? Because if China doesn't need as much fuel because they're being taxed by the Americans who buy a lot of their stuff, well, our fuel's not worth as much, is it? So that impacts Australia.
Yes, understood.
And that's why everybody's got skin in this game. It's not, oh, well, that's just something America's doing. Ha, ha, ha. The American people are, going to have repercussions of this. No, Queen, you are too.
So the ASX, the biggest Australian companies, they're ones that we've actually heard of.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've heard of BHP?
I have heard of,
Yep,
yes.
you've heard of Rio Tinto?
Yes.
Yeah, so they make up a very significant chunk of our share market. So if you're in a broad Australian market ETF, you do have exposure to mining and it all flows from there.
I knew Australia does a lot of trade with China, but didn't realise that somehow ends up mattering to our investments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It all links.
It's a really frustrating situation, side note, because a lot of people are always like, oh my God, I only want to invest ethically. I want an Australian ETF. I'm like, well, actually Australia is mostly commodities and that's iron and that's exports that go to China. And sometimes people aren't comfortable with that. So maybe an Australian ETF isn't for you. But I think it's important to be, side note again, I think it's important to be supporting Australian companies because if we stop supporting them, they aren't going to have the revenue to try better and do better and research better and make it more sustainable. I'd prefer to be supporting iron ore companies and BHP when I know that they're taking steps towards being more sustainable. To me, I go, okay, well, that makes sense. And I'm still putting my money back into our economy, not just the global economy. And it really helps when you can start to see what that chain looks like. I go, okay, Beck, China buys some iron ore from us to produce some fuel that they use to make goods and services that they then sell on to America. You go, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. And then the second thing is our dollar. So when global uncertainty spikes, the Australian dollar tends to become quite weak. And what that means is when you're looking up how much your dollar is worth to see if you can travel to America.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, is that expensive or is that cheap? And right now, going to the US is so expensive for us.
Yeah.
Which means that our Australian dollar is weak. It's what economists call risk-sensitive currency, which is a good and a bad thing, which it sounds scary, but I would say it has a silver lining. So a lower Australian dollar is actually really good for Australian companies that earn money overseas.
Okay.
So if you're an Australian company and you earn US dollars, obviously that's a money win because that's when they bring that money home and they're bringing more of it.
So it's not all bad news.
Absolutely not. And thirdly, the Australian share market does move in correlation with global markets, especially the US. You'll often see us kind of reflecting it. We're not as dramatic. So when you're looking at the ebbs and flows or the volatility of the market, how much it's going up and how much it's going down, you might see America go up 7 or 8%. But Australia, we're just following behind. We're just a little slower. We're just a little smaller. So you might see us go up by 3 or 4. Does that make sense? So like we often track what they're doing, but not to the same extent. And when Wall Street has a really rough night, we often open lower the next morning because all of the people on the share market are like, oh, did you see what's going on in the US?
Right.
Oh, that's crazy, girl. And so we're not as confident the next morning. So our share market opens and nobody's buying as aggressively.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
see.
Because like we're following our big sister.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
No, not cute because our big sister's kind of unhinged.
She's getting
She's gone off the rails.
long in the tooth.
She needs an intervention.
I know.
But she's still our sister, so we're still tied to her. But like,
Yeah.
you know,
We
they
don't
say
have to
blood is
love
thicker
her.
than water. But it's just the reality of being part of a globally connected financial system, unfortunately.
I see. Okay.
But we do have some genuinely strong buffers that a lot of other countries don't have. So an independent central bank, so the RBA makes decisions for our economy. And we did that episode the other day to be like,
Yes.
the RBA makes decisions, but they're not the government. And the government can't tell the RBA what to do. Money win. But we also have a relatively strong labour market and we've got a superannuation system, which you know how sexy I think that is, which is honestly one of the most robust retirement savings systems in the entire world.
I think we do take it for granted a little bit because
We do, because we
didn't
don't know
realise
any
no one
better.
else- Yeah, no one else really.
Like, you just got it,
yes,
right?
that's
Like, you
so
started
true.
working and you were just told, by the way, this is how it is. And you're like, that's
Exactly.
that doesn't make sense. And that's why I'm like, girl, this is actually so hot.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Like, I know that lots of us aren't retiring with enough superannuation, but we sure as hell retiring with a lot more than other countries because we have a system in place.
Yes.
And all we need to do to make sure that we're basically retiring rich is learn the system.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you. Don't worry.
Thank you.
We take it literally for granted. And that's why I'm always like, look, I know that we get given these things and it's fine and we take it for granted, but like, we're so lucky. And that's why I'm always trying to reframe it. Like, Beck, we're so lucky to pay tax, even though we don't like it. Like, look what we get. It's so much better than so many other countries. And compulsory employer contributions to your retirement from day one of work. Sorry, that's genius.
I like that.
And that's not normal globally. Like, that is not what other people are getting and doing. And that, I would say, is an incredible thing that we've just decided is standard. No,
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah.
No, you have to save for your retirement. And we're going to invest it and make your money make money. Okay.
And that's what
thanks.
happens when you like say move out of home or something and you're like, oh, I didn't realize my laundry just doesn't just get done. And all these little things you're
I
like,
know.
you know, and you're like, oh, okay. And so
That's actually the best example.
thank you.
Like when you move out of home and you realize that like
You're like,
there's no
wait.
butter fairy who just updates the butter in the fridge.
Every single,
Who buys olive oil?
yeah, who buys olive oil? Every aspect of your life. It's like,
Yeah.
well, you got to do it yourself.
What do you mean I have to buy dishwashing tablets?
I know. That's crazy. Like,
They're
surely
so-
give us some.
They're so expensive.
So expensive.
I
And
hate
so
buying dishwasher tablets.
surely there's a hack for that. If you guys know a cheaper way, let us know.
I just buy dishwashing powder.
That's right. I've heard this.
Yeah, I'm not like the
Yes.
tablets, honest to God, I think they're a scam.
They are. And
You don't need a tablet that has a dissolvable cover with powder inside it when I can just buy a Coles brand
That's so true.
thing of lemon scented powder.
that's so true.
You
and
can't
then
convince me otherwise.
that's what's in the little thing, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
well, get rid of the plastic and
Yeah.
just put it straight
And
in there.
sometimes they have like the little sachet of powder with like a little gel bit in the middle. What do you think the gel bit's made of? Soap? Can't
Well,
be
yeah, that's so
revolutionary. So it's
true.
all soap.
Yeah, it's all soap.
It's all soap.
Just chuck it in. Yeah, okay. Well, that's a hack. Sorry, thank you. I asked and I received.
You take that, you save it for broke tips.
Yes.
We'll
good
come
idea.
back to that.
Good
All right.
idea.
Now we're going to move on and talk about what I think everybody is actually listening to this episode for. What does it actually mean for you? Because you've looked at your app and there are things that are red. And I logged into my app this morning just to check and make sure that I wasn't going to record an episode that made me look silly. And I have 2 ETFs, Beck, that are down 8%.
Yes, okay.
Just this morning. And that feels a bit trashy if you aren't understanding the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh my gosh, I bought something that's losing value. Sit down, sit down. Maybe you're down, like if you're buying individual shares, 10, 15, even 20%. Like, and that's why individual shares are really scary. And you're starting to think, what do I do? Like, am I meant to pull all my money out? And I want to give you 3 questions, Beck, that I think you need to ask yourself before you do even one thing.
Okay.
So the first question is, when do I actually need this money? So you've seen it go down and you're a bit stressy. When do you need this money?
Yes, okay.
Did you need it tomorrow? If so, okay, that's kind of trash.
Yeah.
But, sorry, you were investing for your financial future and you want to be rich in 30 years? You need it in 30 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would say that's the biggest and most important question, because if your investing goal is like 10, 15, 20, 30 years, retirement, maybe you're building wealth, maybe you're trying to build intergenerational wealth. So then what the market does this week, this month, even this year is kind of largely irrelevant right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what's happening today because you don't need it today. And the market has recovered every single downturn in history. Let's remember that. And it generally takes far less time than people expect.
Yeah.
Because do you know what we're really good at? Spiraling.
Yeah.
Then going to bed and having a good sleep. And then waking up in the morning and being like, that was probably a little bit dramatic, wasn't it? We're all good at it.
Yeah. And I remember there was this thing not longer where the market was down.
Yeah.
It went back to normal literally in like 3 days.
And like this might be
So
bigger
don't
than
rush.
that and it might take longer.
Yeah.
But we've always recovered.
Yeah. Yep. Don't panic and don't rush and don't anything.
Do what Beck would do.
Just
don't do anything.
Don't do anything.
Just chill out.
Just have a little sit down.
Have a break, have a Kit Kat.
Yeah, seriously. What if your goal is shorter, like someone who's been saving for a house deposit in the market? What's that kind of situation?
Well, first things first, have you listened to my podcast? What did we say about saving your house deposit in the market?
Don't be doing that.
We said that's not a good idea, but also you do you, boo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really different conversation. So if you need the money in maybe like 1 or 2 years, girl, it probably shouldn't have been in the market. I'm really sorry it shouldn't have been in the market. Not because the share market is bad, but because the market is a long-term wealth generation tool for short-term goals like a house deposit or a big trip or anything that you need access to or your emergency fund. You want stability. And a high-interest savings account was probably your best goal. Maybe a term deposit, something that isn't going to be down 20% right when you need to make an offer. And also, we'll do a whole episode on it. But when the share market is down, when our interest rates increase, you know what else increases, Beck?
What?
The interest on your savings account. So if you've got money in a savings account right now and you're seeing, oh my gosh, the interest rates are going up, I'm so stressed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're making a little bit extra money as well.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
That's a good deal. God, it's also, everything's so linked. It's
Sometimes
really-
you just need a big sister.
Yes.
It's not like America, that's like me.
Yes.
That goes, hey, here's what's best for you. You might not like hearing it, but I promise I'm not that crazy.
That's so true. And I really appreciate you for it.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Beck.
Thank you. Okay, so I shouldn't have money I actually need soon sitting in the share market at this present moment.
Absolutely not. And
Ideally.
I can't yell that from the rooftops enough because that's going to scare you. That's going to mean that when you pull the money out because you needed it and it's down, give it a couple of years, you're like, yeah, I invested in the share market that one time, pulled my money out and I actually lost money. I don't think I'm going to do that again.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to create the life you deserve.
True.
And I want you to have the life you deserve. Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely care so much about everybody that I'm like, can you just see what's good for you, please? What we want to do is match the tool to the timeline. That is it. Is the share market the right tool for your timeline of buying a house next year?
Yeah, okay.
No, it is not.
No.
And then question 2, we'll move on because I could harp on about that forever. I really want you to sit on this one. Am I actually losing money, Beck? Or does it just look like I'm losing money?
And how would we know?
Exactly. That's a good point. So when your portfolio goes down,
Yes.
that's what the market calls an unrealized loss.
Okay.
It's unrealized.
They don't know
It's
yet.
not real. You didn't actually lose anything. It's a paper loss. You didn't actually lose any cash. It only becomes a real loss if you sell. It only becomes a real loss if you crystallize your losses. If you don't
Yes.
sell, what happens? You still own every single share that you owned yesterday. They're just worth less. You've still got all of those units. What's happened is the price has dropped, but the thing that you owned hasn't gone anywhere. It's like owning an antique.
Yeah,
You might
okay.
go into the antique shop and be like, hey, I've got this very intricate clock I would like to sell you. And the man goes, give you $50. And you go, no, King, it is worth more than $50. And then you take your clock home. You didn't sell it to him. Then you went back in a couple of weeks later and you go, you changed your mind? what's my clock worth? And he goes, oh my goodness. Some people came in asking for clocks. It's worth $100. And you go, great. Well, that's exactly what I thought it was worth. Maybe I will sell.
Yes.
But I'm not going to sell it if it's not worth that.
No, totally.
You wouldn't take less for something else. Why would you take less for your shares and sell them?
Yeah, that makes sense. And they're not, I was going to say, they're not worthless. They're worth less. That's so not needed right now.
But also kind of funny.
Thank you.
You should be a comedian.
So nothing actually has changed unless you sell it, unless you lock it in. It's all just a concept before then.
Yeah, it's just an idea.
Just an idea.
It's like, an idea. They're just pitching it. Would you take less? You go, no, because I'm a baller. I'm not taking less.
Okay, easy.
Nothing has actually changed.
Yeah.
So I also, another analogy here, I love property because, I mean, we are Australian and property is basically, I don't know, would we call it a religion here?
Yeah.
It's the great Australian dream, Beck. Imagine you bought a house and your neighbour sold. They have got the same house because we're maybe in a housing estate and all our houses are the same.
Of course.
And they sold their house for less than you paid. You'd be like, oh my God. Does that mean you've lost money though? No, you still own the house. Nothing about your house has changed. The only way you would have lost money is if you also sell for less.
Yeah.
But you're not going to do that, and you wouldn't sell your house in a panic because your neighbour got a bad deal.
Yes.
Like, oh no,
That's so true.
they got a bad deal. I should run out and get a bad deal too.
Yeah, or you feel like quickly get a bad deal now so I don't get a worse deal later. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but like, why would you do that?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Did you even need to sell your house? Like,
no.
But that is essentially what people do when they sell their investments in a downturn. They see other people getting less and they're like, what? They got less? I should also get less.
Yeah.
Stop that. That's actually so silly.
That's silly.
And then they sell at the lowest point, they lock in a loss, and then you know what they do? They miss out on the recovery.
Okay.
And I want you to get the recovery.
Yeah. When you say it like that, it actually does sound so obvious. But in the moment, the panic kind of takes over and it feels like you need to do something.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's honestly, side note completely, that's what marketing specialists lead into.
Yeah.
Like this is why sales work so well on us. This is why Black Friday works, Cyber Monday works, Boxing Day sales. This is why you panic buy during those periods of time. Same thing's happening in the share market.
It's so true.
But it's reverse engineered.
Yep.
So like they're trying to sell you something and in the opposite way. You just don't want to miss out. And that instinct to do something is one of the most expensive instincts you will have in investing, which I guess is a perfect lead into question 3, which is, am I still investing or have I stopped?
Okay. And that is only if you need the money right now, no? Or you
No,
just...
but like why aren't you investing consistently and regularly over time to put yourself in a better position? And this is where I see people make a very costly mistake because remember, when the share market is down, it's on sale. Why aren't you buying your groceries on sale if they're right in front of you? Why are you waiting for them to be more expensive again?
Yeah.
Like if pasta's 50% off, sorry, I might get 2. People stop because they want to wait until things settle down. And I completely understand that logic. I really, really do. It feels like the responsible thing to do. But when prices are down, your regular contributions actually buy you more in the market.
Yeah.
So if usually you put money in and the market's pretty consistent, you usually get 10 shares, the market's gone down, well, maybe this week you're getting 12.
Yes.
Is that not a good deal?
I know.
I love free stuff.
Yes, seriously. I always panic buy in a downturn. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Exactly. More shares, more units for the
Yep.
same amount of money. And this is what we call dollar cost averaging.
God, that's
and I
good.
tell everybody dollar cost averaging is going to save your butt because it is the single most powerful thing an investor or a regular investor can do. And it works the hardest when the market is down.
Yeah.
And it offsets all of the ups that you've purchased. So stopping now means actually you're stopping yourself from buying it at the cheapest possible point. And then when you feel safe enough to start again, usually the market has recovered and that's already happened and you're buying at high prices and you did the complete opposite of what you actually want to do and then you missed out.
Yeah, okay. It's like waiting for the sale to end before you go shopping.
Genius.
It's so
Genius.
clever.
And I think that is a perfect analogy. The sale is on right now, so keep going. That made sense. I was like, okay, genius. Before the break, we were having a chat about what's actually driving global market volatility and how it flows into Australia. And then the 3 questions that I want you to ask yourself before you touch your investments. And they were, when do I need the money? Am I actually losing anything at all? And am I still investing? And Beck, you touched on superannuation before. I mean, I did too. I called it really sexy.
I remember that. That was a good day.
Yeah.
Today
Super is very sexy. And I want to talk about super a little bit more because so many people are like, oh, do I change my portfolio to conservative?
Sure.
Like maybe because it might be in line with your goals and your values and your risk profile. But if you're in a high risk profile and then you're like, oh, do I change it right now because the market's different? I think we need to have a little bit of a chat with ourselves.
Okay.
Just need to have a little chat because this is where I'm seeing the most anxiety right now because I would say that it's arguably the biggest asset people our age own, Beck. And I think it's because the numbers are bigger and that makes the drops and the ebbs and the flows feel a little bit more scary. And super feels like it's both, I don't know, really far away and completely out of your control at the same time, which is very uncomfortable. Like, I don't think that's a good combination.
No.
I don't like when things feel far away and they also aren't in my control.
Yeah, I know.
And arguably, as much as superannuation is very sexy, that's not.
No, it's not
That's
ideal.
not ideal.
I've had so many friends say that they're thinking about like gold conservatives, kind of like switching over to like do things that are more just in the
more
last like
risk-averse.
few weeks. And it has taken me a little bit too long to figure out what's going on in the world. So I'm glad we're doing this episode.
And I'm getting 6 million DMs about it as well because switching your superannuation to conservative after a market drop is one of the most financially damaging things you can arguably do. And I really need, I don't know, I need to talk you out of it.
Okay.
Can't give you financial advice, but we are not making decisions based on anxiety. I can talk you out of that.
Yep.
I mean, if it's aligned to your goals and your risk profile, pop off, queen. Please make the changes that are aligned to your values. But don't make decisions because you're anxious.
Yes. Okay. So I understand why it feels like you're protecting yourself.
Why would you not protect yourself?
Why would you not protect yourself?
Oh, because like, why not just live on the edge? No.
No, that's so true though.
It does feel like you're protecting yourself. But what is actually happening, so when you switch to conservative after a market drop, you're selling your assets in super. You're selling your assets in super. So same thing as your ETFs. When we said, oh, do you want to sell it for less? And Beck, you said no. When you sell out of growth assets, your shares are at their lowest point. And then this gets moved to conservative, which is mostly cash and bonds while the market recovers. So you're not making the most of dollar cost averaging. You're not making the most of the fact that the market ebbs and flows. And when it does recover, which it will, because historically, girl, it has always recovered, you have locked in your losses and you missed out on the rebound.
Yeah, so true.
And you know what people want to be, Beck?
Michael Jordan.
Oh, no, they want to be the rebound.
They want to be the rebound. That's
They want to be
so
the rebound. Because being the rebound is kind of fun, isn't it?
That is actually kind of fun.
That's kind of fun.
It's kind of fun, but also sad. Oh, so sad. Okay, so it's genuinely devastating when you think about it. I would like people to like, if you're taking the loss, moving all your money to a place where it's not going to like take off again because it's kind of conservative or
Less than ideal.
It's just like, it's like, hey, don't do this to yourself, you know?
Yeah, not great. So you kind of all the bad and none of the good. And we saw this during COVID in early 2020. Markets dropped, people panicked, they sold out. And within months, what happened? It rebounded.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be the rebound, Beck.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not want to be the rebound for genuine reasons. Because bear with us is a good example. And the people that stayed the course, what were they? Basically fine, Beck. The people who switched and locked their losses in missed out on the entire recovery. And by the time they felt safe enough to switch back to growth, well, they'd already had that recover without them and they didn't make any money.
That's also devastating when you think about it, you know?
Yeah, not ideal. And it happens every single time there's a downturn. People freak out. People sell. Same pattern, same outcome.
So what should people do about their super right now?
honestly,
Yes, please.
stop logging in.
Don't even look
Probably
at it.
nothing for most people. Like that's the answer. If you were in the right option for your age and your risk tolerance before you started, you're probably still in the right option, my friend. So stay the course. Now, there is one scenario where reviewing your super does make sense because, as I said, I'm not going to tell you not to change if it makes sense for you. And that's if your super isn't quite right for your life stage to begin with. And this moment is kind of prompting you to have a proper look at it. And I would say if you're in your early 60s and you're retiring in the next 2 to 3 years, then yeah, maybe you could talk about a more conservative option and that might be appropriate for you, but that decision needs to be made really calmly. If you call your super company, they can have a chat with you for free about your specific circumstance because they have financial advisors on their team, or book in with a proper financial advisor who knows your full picture. Just don't be reactionary, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. So don't touch it unless
No touchy.
you're actually talking to someone who knows your full situation.
Exactly. No touchy unless you've reviewed it properly and you know that that's right for you.
Okay.
All right. Now, we're going to wrap this up because I feel like I could yap about this forever. I did. Do you know we're getting close to 1,000 episodes of this show?
Wow.
1,000. It's going to happen in July. Anyway, I want to give you something really practical to walk away with. So here's your action plan.
Okay.
Don't do anything.
That's gorgeous.
You're
Gorgeous
welcome.
advice.
You're welcome. But also I did write a few dot points that I actually think could be your action plan or your homework. So first things first, stop checking your portfolio every day. It's just giving you anxiety. The more you check, the more you probably want to react, and that's obviously not in line with the values that you have. If not, change. Pop off, queen. And we've always talked about why being reactive is almost always the most expensive option. Like, check it quarterly. Like, Shezzies aren't going to love me for this, but if you need to delete the app, don't sell out, but delete the app for a little bit so that you stop checking it and giving yourself anxiety.
Yeah.
Maybe use it from the desktop for a little while.
Move the app off the home screen if you need to.
Yeah. Like sometimes we just out of sight, out of mind is kind of helpful in these situations.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate investment strategy. Like you don't have to be like, oh, I'm just anxious. No, queen, you've got a buy and hold strategy. We can reframe anything.
Yeah.
I'm your Delulu friend who will reframe anything. And then the second thing, we're going to keep investing. So whatever you were doing before, keep doing that. That's great. If you can set up auto invest, maybe do that because again, out of sight, out of mind. Remove the decision from your hands so that we're not emotional.
Yep.
Because when we're making emotional decisions, what do, Beck?
Silly things.
We become Britney Spears and we shave our heads. And that is arguably a terrible idea.
Yes. And for context, everyone, I was just about to shave my head before I started this episode, and I didn't, thanks to VD.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And if you're genuinely unsure about your specific setup and whether it is right for you, so you're like, oh, V, I don't actually know about my asset allocation and, you just talking about this is stressing me out a little bit, or I actually don't know what my super option is, or you don't know if the mix of investments that you've picked is right for you, honestly, start deep diving into it now because education is the best thing that you can do. I can match you with a financial advisor. If you're stressed about it, just head to our website. That sounds like a plug. It actually is a plug because I've got a financial advisor and mortgage broking matching tool on our website. Is it a tool if it's just like you fill in a form and it gets sent to me?
I think that's a tool or a form.
Yeah, but it's a form. It's a tool. It's a form.
It's whatever you want it to be.
But what happens is it gets sent to me and then I read your situation and then I reply to you and say, hey, Beck, the best financial advisor I think is X for this situation. And then you get a good recommendation from a friend that you trust.
Perfect.
Which I would say is the best way to get a recommendation for a financial advisor.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyway, then you might feel like you're in better hands or on better track.
Okay. And are there any options if you can't afford a full advisor session?
Totally. Your super fund has free financial advisors.
True.
And I mean, they're not free because you're paying super fund fees, but they're non-consensual.
True.
So you had to pay them. So call your super fund and have a chat with them. Also, we have a whole website, Beck, with free budgets and tools and resources that you can just go download.
That's so nice.
You can just go download it and put yourself in a better financial situation.
Yep.
And then right now, what I would be doing is making sure that you've got a good, juicy emergency fund because at the end of the day, that is always the place that is going to make you feel the most secure. Having some cash that you can fall back on during a period of uncertainty, whether that is, $300 or $300,000, I actually don't mind, whatever makes you feel comfortable. And I actually got someone reply to my Instagram the other day because I was like, oh my God, like even if you've got an extra $50, like put that in your emergency fund. And they were like, Victoria, you can't even pay for all your groceries with $50. Like, what's the point? Girl, would you prefer to have $50 when you have no money or no money?
Oh my God, totally. That $50, you can make that stretch. So it is good to have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't have to sell anything. And let's just be quite conservative with our decision making.
I always feel very motivated after these chats about going and doing something about my emergency fund. And
I love that.
So I'm going to go put $20 in. And that will bring me up to $20. But hey, that's better
But that
than
is
nothing.
good. Exactly. And I feel like so many of us, especially right now, feel like, oh, we're not doing enough with our money or like that's not going to be worth it. But like, girl, even having a couple of dollars set aside.
Totally.
That's a very good position to be in. And I hope that now everyone's obviously hung out with us until the end of this episode. Thanks, Queens.
Thank you.
I hope you're feeling a little bit calmer. Please share this episode with someone that you think also needs to hear it, because I promise you there are a lot of people right now who need to hear it. And if you haven't left us a rating or a review, Beck and I, our egos need it. You need to feed our egos. So it genuinely helps our show as well, but mainly our egos.
Mainly.
Anyway,
Please.
have a good week. We'll see you on Friday.
Bye, guys.
The advice shared on She's on the Money is general in nature and does not consider your individual circumstances. She's on the Money exists purely for educational purposes and should not be relied upon to make an investment or financial decision. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the PDS, TMD and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored towards your needs. Victoria Devine and She's on the Money are authorised representatives of Money Sherpa Pty Ltd ABN 321 649 27708, AFSL 451289.